I get asked a lot about management qualifications, and I'm going to briefly run through the options for you in this video. It's taken me years to work this out. It's very difficult to get clear information on what the options are. And this is mainly based on the UK, but the things I'm going to talk about are international. So I'm pretty sure they apply roughly the same in the US and hopefully in the country where you are as you watch this. So, the most famous management qualification would be an MBA. Everybody knows about MBAs. I think the snag with them is that they are really expensive. It's going to take you 3 years to get it. It's probably going to cost you £30,000 at least. And while MBAs are very well recognised, some people are suspicious of them because they don't require experience. So anybody could get an MBA based on just theory, and the question is, what have they actually done? But I do recommend MBAs if you've got something like an engineering degree. This is exactly what I did, where you want to learn about the commercial side of things, you want to learn about finance and marketing and strategy and things. So an MBA will fill in all those gaps, and it will show that you are an all-rounder. So you learn about those things, but also you've got proof that you know about those things. So an MBA is kind of the ultimate. There's also a thing called Chartered Manager, which is where you have to have a level of qualification, but you also have to show experience as a manager. I think it's a really good idea, but it hasn't really caught on. Most people haven't even heard of it. I think that's a shame, but I think that's how it is. So if you go through a whole load of effort to get Chartered Manager, it's probably a waste of time, or nearly a waste of time, because when you apply for jobs, people won't have heard of it. So that's an option you've got. But I want to talk about the third option, which is a certificate or a diploma in management. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, but bear with me. I'm going to draw a little diagram because there's actually a 3x3 going on here. So the first thing is that there are levels. So you can do a level 3, a level 5, or a level 7 qualification. So level 3 is really for supervisors. They're in charge of a small group of people and they're kind of a frontline manager. So they're just working short time, just trying to motivate and control a group of people. And that's level 3. Level 5 is what you would call classic management. Most of the great management theories are actually in level 5. Things like Belbin's team roles, things like Maslow, all the stuff that managers really need to know is in level 5, I would say. There's also level 7, which is kind of strategic management. This is people who are managing managers. And so there's some interesting stuff in level 7, but the assignments are more difficult. They have to be written to a higher standard. It's more theoretical. I personally think level 5 is where you should be thinking about your management qualification. Now, what sort of qualification are you going to do? Well, there are 3 different lengths of qualification. You've got awards, certificates, and diplomas. So these are not to do with the level of the qualification. A diploma is not necessarily a higher level than a certificate. It's just longer. And originally, these were 1, 4, and 9 units or assignments. And these are only approximate figures because you can do some assignments or units that are bigger and then you don't have to do quite so many. So you might be able to do, only 8 instead of 9 if they're slightly bigger ones. So it depends which ones you choose, but roughly it was 1, 4 and 9. Now, they changed that a while ago and now you only have to do 2, sometimes 3, but I'm going to put 2 to get your certificate. And you can get the diploma in 6 or 7, but I'm going to put 7. Depending on what the units are, okay? Now, these qualifications are awarded by the Chartered Management Institute, CMI. There are some other awarding bodies as well. There's ILM and there's BTEC, but personally, I think the CMI are probably the most blue chip awarding body, the Chartered Management Institute, although Institute of Leadership and Management also good. So they will give you an award, a certificate or a diploma at levels 3, 5 or 7. Now, which one should you choose? Well, to me, an award, nobody's heard of an award. If you say I've got an award in management, it doesn't really sound like a proper qualification. And it is only one assignment, although one's better than nothing. But for me, I would do the second one and make it into a certificate. because a certificate in management does sound like a proper qualification. Now, if you enjoy it and you find it interesting, you can always carry on and do some more and make it into a diploma later. But why not start on a certificate and see how it feels? And I don't think a diploma sounds that much better than a certificate at a job interview. Now, it clearly is, because you've done 7 rather than 2. But if you just want a qualification in management, it seems to me obvious to get the certificate. It's much easier, it sounds nearly as good, and you can always extend it later. So you can extend from here to here by doing extra units. You can't change level because those units have to be at whichever level you're working at. So it seems to me that this is the place to be. The level 5 certificate. You have to do 2 assignments at level 5 and you get a level 5 certificate in leadership and management from the Chartered Management Institute. Now, what are the assignments in? These 2 assignments you can choose. So you could do one in general management and then you could do one in, say, project management and you can get a qualification. Or you could do one in management and you could do one in finance or something like that. Or you could do finance and project management, whatever you want to do. There's a great big list of units you can choose from. You just pick 2 and you do it. Now, there's only one other thing I want to talk about, which is how do you do this? Where do you go to get this? And the answer is a lot of people get them at local colleges, which are kind of the level below a university. So there'll be a local college near you where you can go and you can get one of these level 5 certificates. But you have to go on Tuesday evenings. Sometimes the quality of the lecturing is not very good. It's variable. It's not the easiest way to do it. So there are also private providers who will do this for you. And the private providers will either come to your company and run a course for a group of people, or individuals can go to them and they can do it as a one-off. And so you can do it as distance learning. So do it remotely, do it online. So the teaching can be online, you can watch videos and things, and then you can write your assignment and then you can email the assignment in, it will be marked by CMI and you get your qualification. So private providers are the way to go. I have a favourite one called Crescente, which I'm going to put the details in at the bottom of this video. But you can Google and you can look for private providers. The point of this video is really to say you don't have to go for a diploma straight away. You don't have to go for level 7. I would absolutely start with a level 5 certificate. The only exception is that if you do a level 7 certificate, you can then make it into a level 7 diploma by doing some more units once you get into the swing of how to do it. So you have to do 7 assignments. You might want to spread that over a couple of years because the assignments take a bit of work. They're about 2,000 or 3,000 words each. But once you've got this, you can upgrade it to an MBA. There are some universities which will do a top-up year and you can upgrade it to an MBA. And in terms of price, that's by far the cheapest way to get an MBA. Because to get one of these certificates at level 5 or 7 will cost about £1,000. It's going to vary, it might be 1,500 or whatever, but let's say £1,000. And then to do the diploma, it's probably going to cost about £2,000. But once you've got that, you can do your top-up year, which will probably cost another 1,000 or 2. So you could get an MBA for maybe £4,000 or £5,000. And that is much, much cheaper than doing the traditional MBA at a university that's going to cost you 30, 40, 50,000. So the top-up year is interesting. There are not many universities that offer it, but there are some, and you can Google and you can find it out. And companies like Crescente will advise you on that. Now, worst case is you do a level 5 certificate and then you think, oh, I wish I had a diploma at level 7, I could make it an MBA. I love all this studying. So what you do then is you do this, which is only 2 assignments, and then you do another 2 assignments at level 7, and then if that goes well, you can do some more and you can do the full 7 assignments, get your diploma, top it up to an MBA. But the starting point, I think, has to be the level 5 certificate. So, as I mentioned, I'd really recommend a friend of mine called John Chisholm, who works at Crescente, and he can advise you on the details of this. He can help you choose which units you want to have and how much it costs and the best way to do it. Just give him a call or email him and find out about it. But that is an overview of the options for management qualifications. I hope you found it useful.